Have you ever felt like you were finally on the edge of something good? A new job, a better relationship, a healthier habit. And then out of nowhere you ruin it? Not by accident, not because of someone else, but by some weird, almost invisible force inside you. You tell yourself you're just unlucky, that maybe it wasn't meant to be. But deep down, there's a darker whisper. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem. This silent sabotage, where you stop yourself from winning, from healing, from becoming, is far more common than people admit. We call it procrastination. We call it overthinking. We call it bad timing or bad luck. But behind the excuses is something deeper, a hidden war between the part of you that wants more and the part of you that's terrified of what more really means. You might chase love, but push people away the moment it gets serious. You crave success, but accidentally miss the deadline. You want peace, but pick fights just when things are calm. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why does it feel like there's a trapdoor inside our own brain, one we keep falling through? To understand that, we need to go back over 100 years, back to a man whose theories still shape modern therapy, trauma work, and even the way we dream. A man who believed that much of what we do is not really us at all, but our unconscious mind, pulling strings in the background. Sigmund Freud. He wasn't perfect. His ideas were controversial, but when it comes to understanding why we destroy the very things we say we want, he may have been disturbingly right. In this video, we're going deep into the psychology of self-sabotage, not just to understand it, but to recognize it in ourselves and maybe finally learn how to stop it. Stay with me. Here's the part that's hardest to admit. Most of the time, it's not the world that's against us, it's us. We delay the email that could change everything. We cancel plans with the person who actually cares. We promise we'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow never shows up. This isn't laziness. It's not stupidity. It's self-sabotage, a silent war waged by your own mind. But why? Why would anyone destroy the very things they crave? The answer is both simple and terrifying, because deep down, a part of you believes you don't deserve it, and it's been trained, without your permission, to fear change more than it fears failure. Let that sink in. If your entire life you've been told, verbally or silently, that you're not enough, that love is conditional, that safety only exists in playing small, then success, real joy, or emotional intimacy doesn't feel safe. It feels like danger. So your unconscious steps in to protect you. It says, better to blow this up now than wait for the disappointment later. It whispers, you know how this ends, let's skip the heartbreak. So you ghost people. You eat junk when you're trying to heal. You start arguments in moments that should be calm. You stay stuck, not because you want to, but because a deeper part of you believes stuck is safer than free. The most painful part, you don't even realize you're doing it until it's too late. You look back and wonder, why did I ruin that? Why can't I just be happy? But the truth is, you're not broken, you're not weak, you're protecting yourself from a threat that doesn't exist anymore. The problem is, your brain doesn't know that, and unless you shine a light into the darker corners of your mind, you'll keep repeating the same patterns, breaking your own heart in slow motion. Again, and again, and again. But what if I told you Freud believed this was predictable? What if there's a reason for this madness, a blueprint to this sabotage, written deep in your psyche? What if the cure starts, not with willpower, but with awareness? Let's go deeper. Freud once said, we are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. But what if that suffering doesn't come from the outside, but from inside us? To understand why we self-sabotage, Freud didn't look at what we do. He looked at why we do it, not consciously but unconsciously. Freud believed your mind is like an iceberg. What you're aware of, your thoughts, decisions, logic, that's just the tip. Beneath the surface lies a massive, hidden force, your unconscious. mind. And this is where the sabotage begins. According to Freud, your mind is split into three parts. The id, primal, emotional, impulsive. Wants pleasure now. The superego, your inner critic. Moral, shaming, often unrealistic. The ego, the middleman, trying to balance the chaos. Now imagine this. Your id wants success, love, freedom. But your superego, it's been programmed by childhood wounds, trauma, culture, to believe you don't deserve it, that you're not good enough, that you'll fail, that people will leave. So when the ego tries to help you chase your dreams, it's overwhelmed by inner conflict. The closer you get to your goals, the louder the resistance becomes. That resistance shows up in subtle ways. A forgotten meeting, a sarcastic comment, a missed opportunity you secretly let slip. Freud called this the repetition compulsion. We repeat patterns from the past, especially painful ones, because deep inside we're trying to resolve them. But without awareness, we don't heal, we just loop. We become the child trying to earn a parent's love, the rejected teen proving they're worthy, the betrayed partner trying to feel safe by destroying anything that feels like love. And here's the scary part. The more successful we become, the more that unconscious guilt grows. Until, snap, it breaks through and we sabotage, not because we want to, but because somewhere in our deepest wiring, we were taught that peace is foreign. But Freud didn't just expose the problem. He hinted at the path forward, not by pushing harder, but by bringing the unconscious to light, and that is where everything changes. Freud believed that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will control your life, and you'll call it fate. So how do we make peace with a mind that hides things from us? Freud's answer was revolutionary. Talk, not just to others, but to ourselves, in a way that's raw, honest, and unfiltered. He pioneered talk therapy, a space where you say what feels irrational, ugly, embarrassing, until the truth underneath reveals itself. You see, self-sabotage isn't just a behavior. It's a message. When you're ghosting opportunities, snapping at people who love you, binge-eating, procrastinating, you're not just being bad. You're reacting to an ancient wound that hasn't healed, and Freud's method. Follow the trail of pain, not to punish yourself, but to understand it. Step 1, notice the pattern. Where do you always crash? What do you always run from when it gets close? That's your unconscious flinching. Step 2, get curious, not cruel. Don't ask what's wrong with me, ask what part of me thinks it's safer to ruin this than to receive it. That's the voice of the inner child, the scared version of you who needed love and got rejection, who wanted safety and got chaos. That child is still running parts of your adult life. Freud would urge you to sit with that child, not shame them. Step 3, speak it, journal it, or say it to someone who can hold it. When unconscious pain becomes language, it starts to lose its grip. Because here's Freud's real magic. Once you understand the why, you're no longer its prisoner. The moment you can say, I push people away because intimacy once meant danger, or I sabotage my success because failure is familiar and safe, that moment is power. You're not broken. You're protecting something that was once precious, but that version of you doesn't need to run the show anymore. By bringing your sabotage into the light, you don't kill it, you free it. And from that freedom comes something rare, the chance to live on purpose, not on repeat. If you've ever wondered, why do I always mess things up when they're finally good? You're not crazy, you're not hopeless, you're not alone, you are human. And the human mind is wired not just to survive, but to repeat what feels familiar, even if it hurts. You were never taught how to feel safe in joy, how to trust love that doesn't come with chaos, how to receive success without guilt gnawing at your chest. But here's the truth. Your patterns are not prophecies. They are echoes, and echoes fade when you stop screaming into the same canyon. Freud gave us a terrifying gift. The knowledge that the mind has layers we cannot see, but also the hope that once we begin to explore them, we can rewrite what we thought was fate. So if you find yourself pushing away what you want, ruining peace with panic, destroying love with suspicion, pause. Don't punish yourself. Don't run. Get curious. Ask, what fear is pretending to protect me right now? What story am I reliving that doesn't belong to me anymore? And when the answers come, soft, broken, aching, listen. Because the moment you stop fighting your sabotage and start understanding it, you begin to reclaim your life. This isn't a motivational speech. This is a quiet rebellion against the ghosts of your past, against the wiring you didn't ask for, against the version of you that's still just trying to survive. You can heal. You can feel safe in joy. You can let the good in without bracing for the crash. But first, you have to believe you are allowed to be whole, even if no one ever taught you how.